This is a direct continuation of my last video on Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Video is in the top right corner. After declaring Sariphi, a human, as the acting queen of the Beast Kingdom, the king started receiving letters from different parts of the kingdom. These letters expressed various opinions and concerns about the new acting queen. Meanwhile, envoys from different parts of the kingdom also wanted to meet with the king to discuss the matter. Chancellor Onbis, who had been closely observing the king, noticed that he had changed after the grand consecration. After witnessing large number of envoys who had come to meet the king, Princess Amit became concerned about Sariphi's well-being. She couldn't help but wonder if the new acting queen was handling the pressure and scrutiny that came with her new position. So, Princess Amit decided to go and check on Sariphi to see how she was doing. But Amit was surprised to see that Sariphi was doing just fine. Later on, as Princess Amit spoke with Sariphi, she learned that, although Sariphi was quite nervous about her new role, she had decided to remain strong and determined. Sariphi knew that there would be challenges ahead, but she was determined to face them head-on. In order to show her support, Princess Amit began crafting charm amulets for both Sariphi and Jormungand. The next day, she overheard a conversation between Jormungand and two palace guards. One of the guards inquired if he would ever consider marriage, to which he replied that he might not get married, as he has devoted his body and soul entirely to the king. Upon hearing this, Princess Amit became quite disheartened. As Amit gave the charm amulet to Sariphi, Sariphi saw Amit holding another charm amulet. After learning about the situation and Amit's feelings, Sariphi encouraged her to give the amulet to Jormungand. However, Amit was hesitant to do so, as she was unsure of how he would react to the gesture. After some hesitation and encouragement from Sariphi, Princess Amit finally mustered the courage to present the amulet to Jormungand. To her relief, he was grateful for the gift and thanked her for the thoughtful gesture. By the way, if you are enjoying the recap, a sub to the channel would be incredible. After a while, we can see Sariphi and the king going somewhere in a carriage. Then, we learn that they are going to Sarbal, a vassal kingdom to the Osmargo kingdom. The reason for Sariphi and the king's journey to Sarbal was to fulfill Sariphi's first duty as acting queen. It was to bestow blessings upon the newborn baby of King Tet and Queen Carla. After the passing of the previous queen, it had been the responsibility of the priests to perform the blessings. However, as the acting queen, it was now Sariphi's duty to bless the newborn prince, Carla. Despite this, Queen Carla made a request to the king to refuse the right of blessing. Well, she did not want a human, or in this case, Sariphi, to touch her newborn child. After that, the king and Sariphi finally meet King Tet and Queen Carla. Sariphi greeted King Tet and Queen Carla. As Sariphi was not feeling well, the king took her to her room. While discussing a couple of things with the king, Sariphi mentioned that she understood that Queen Carla resented her and did want her to be here. The way Queen Carla acted earlier had made it difficult for Sariphi to breathe. The interaction between them brought back painful memories for Sariphi, reminding her of how her parents used to treat her in the past. So the king cheered her up. Meanwhile, Queen Carla vows to prevent Sariphi from touching her son. The next day, Sariphi began preparations for the blessing rite. However, when she was about to bestow her blessing upon Carla, the queen intentionally caused her child to cry, effectively delaying the ceremony. Despite being aware of the situation and the tension between Queen Carla and Sariphi, Chancellor Onbis chose to remain silent and not intervene. After some time had passed, Sariphi approached Queen Carla and offered to help soothe the crying prince. As expected, Queen Carla declined the offer, still determined to prevent Sariphi from having any contact with her child. In the midst of the tension between Queen Carla and Sariphi, Carla's fourth daughter, Tetra, stepped forward and offered to show Sariphi around. However, when Sariphi greeted Tetra, the young princess immediately responded by calling her ugly. This disrespectful behavior angered Klops and Sai, who demanded that Tetra apologize for her actions. After the initial exchange, Tetra continued to treat Sariphi poorly, even going so far as to treat her like a dog. Tetra also mentioned that her mother would never let a human touch his brother. Tetra attempted to demean and belittle Sariphi, treating her as if she were a servant rather than the acting queen. However, much to Tetra's surprise, Sariphi remained unfazed by her behavior and even seemed to be enjoying herself despite the mistreatment. After a while, Tetra finally opened up to Sariphi and implied that her mother doesn't love her. She only cares about Carla. Sariphi, in an attempt to comfort Tetra, reassured her that her mother truly loves her. After a while, Tetra attempted to jump from the top of the tower. Sariphi, along with Klops and Sai, tried their best to talk her down and prevent her from jumping. Then, to Tetra's surprise, her mother showed up to prevent her daughter from taking such drastic action. While engaged in conversation with Sariphi, Tetra suddenly lost her balance and falls off. Without hesitation, Sariphi leaped after her in a desperate attempt to save her. Then King summons his holy beast and saves both of them. Once they were safe, Sariphi gives Tetra a blessing by kissing her forehead. After that, Tetra started crying. Carla, seeing her daughter in distress, rushed to her side and hugged her tightly, apologizing for her past mistakes. Grateful to Sariphi for saving her daughter's life, Carla expressed her heartfelt thanks and humbly requested that Sariphi also bestow her blessing upon Carla. And Sariphi successfully bestows her blessing upon Carla and completes her first task as the acting queen. After witnessing the events that had transpired, Bis couldn't help but acknowledge the possibility that Sariphi truly possessed the power to change others. However, he also implied that he refused to accept her. Later on, Tetra told Sariphi that if she is going to be the queen, then she will have to bear the king's children someday, which made her blush and embarrassed at the same time. Later that night, the king told Sariphi everything about his terrible childhood and how much he had to suffer. The king revealed to Sariphi that he had grown up without a mother and his father considered him to be a disgrace or a burden. His father despised him, fueled by the fact that he was of mixed blood, being both human and beast. Even on his deathbed, he made the fact pretty clear that he hated Leonhart. Sariphi became sad after hearing all this, so the king consoled her. After that, the king and Sariphi kissed. The next day, Sariphi and the king left the kingdom of Sarbol.